So we have some more information here talking about Warzone, the reveal and release for this game mode. Modern Warfare's Battle Royale has been something we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now, and we've been going through a bunch of different leaks. We've had leaks from the Game Revolution from around the first days of Warzone actually being officially leaked, from it being teased in Season 2 and all of that different stuff. Then we got a pretty major leak talking about the early March release date, either March 3rd or March 10th. It remains to be seen whether or not Warzone is going to release on any of those days to begin with, but now we have some more information from the same Modern Warzone account that we were talking about yesterday that has been giving us a bunch of new leaks for Warzone, and they're pretty much saying that there is some chance, and their leakers and sources telling him that there is evidence that something will happen alongside PAX East. Whether or not that's a release or the embargo will lift for the early Warzone gameplay, or there will be some sort of official reveal for Warzone, it's going to be something along the lines of that. And let's just go through the evidence as to why that's the case. And again, that would be at some point during PAX East. I'll show you guys the dates that they're saying here, and then we'll talk about how much of a possibility this actually is to happen, or is it a safer bet right now just to go behind either the March 3rd or March 10th release dates. I think for the most part that's the safest bet we've seen as to when Warzone is going to be released, but it could be revealed next week as well. So the information here we go, all aboard the hype train. We have evidence that leads us to strongly believe that Warzone will be released on Tuesday, February 25th, barring a live launch at PAX East. Evidence will be in a thread linked below. This is speculation and is not in any way a guarantee. So PAX East has 3 booths concerning COD. 2 are listed as Modern Warfare, however, 1 is only listed as COD, which lines up with the fact that Warzone will be a standalone, separately downloadable game, free to play, separate content from the normal Call of Duties. And we had the leak earlier that was saying that the 3 main pillars of Call of Duty moving forward will be Call of Duty Mobile, which we already know, Call of Duty Warzone, and then the third is the yearly premium release of Call of Duties made by Sledgehammer, Treyarch, and Infinity Ward. So that does make sense as to why it would not be a Modern Warfare booth, and it's strictly just a Call of Duty booth. Now, the only booth listed as Call of Duty shares space with 2 other games containing Battle Royales, CSGO and PUBG. This is presumably to show the technical ability to run these games, especially considering that PUBG runs like trash on any computer. Warzone will be the first 200-player Battle Royale. And here's another thing here. The COD share booth is too small to fill a Warzone lobby, indicating that there will need to be an officially released version to fill the lobbies to show off the tech. And at that point, that would mean that Warzone would not just be in a pre-release, so only the people at the PAX East could play, because you would need, obviously, upwards of 150 to 200 people live playing Warzone for that to work. So he's pretty much saying here that if they're going to show off Warzone at PAX East, they're going to need public servers to be up and running, so everyone's playing Warzone, and they can show it off there live at PAX East with not millions of players, but thousands of players playing Warzone live in public matches at that time. He goes on to say here, in conclusion, the media embargo or full release will come Tuesday, February 25th, barring that Activision decides to live release Warzone at PAX, which doesn't make any sense given the evidence, but still is possible. So here's the final thing here. We believe that Warzone will either be released on Tuesday, February 25th, the associated media embargo will be lifted on February 25th, or Activision will do a live release at PAX East on Thursday, the 27th. Very unlikely given the evidence. So just to round that off here, I think for the most part, if you want my opinion, I don't think it's going to release this Tuesday. It just doesn't make sense. We have too much evidence for the latter, too much evidence for early March. And this here, obviously, he's getting sources, he's getting information, he's looking at PAX East, he's looking at the different stuff, and it does all make a bit of sense. But I think to me, what makes a lot more sense is a potential media embargo being lifted. And like I'm really running with here is some sort of official reveal live stream, some sort of a reveal for the Warzone game mode rather than anything officially being released. So I know there is the case that, they want to, show it off to people, and there's no real way to show it off to people at PAX East if it's not fully available for public users, because you can't show off a 200-player lobby live. You're going to need 200 people there playing the game. That doesn't make sense. But obviously, I think if you're really banking on seeing anything with Warzone associated with PAX East, or really anything this upcoming week, it's going to be in the form of either the media embargo being lifted, so all of the early gameplay will be released, or maybe not all of it, but certain portions of it, whatever they were allowed to record, will slowly start being released next week. week, and then obviously that brings us into the first couple weeks of March when we'll see the eventual release date of Warzone. It's not going to be next week. There's just no way, and maybe they might do a surprise. We talked about earlier, the different YouTubers were being given different release dates for this game mode, so if that's true, then maybe they really are trying to make a surprise. They recorded early gameplay, but they still want some sort of surprise element, so we'll have to see what the deal is with that. But also, next week, we could see some sort of official reveal from Activision and Infinity Ward themselves, meaning that, usually when we have these DLCs or when we have some sort of huge reveal like the multiplayer reveal, they did a huge live stream and they went through all the different content, all the different stuff. So, I would love for them to do that. That would be cool to see that, so that could be a possibility as well. But my point is, the early gameplay being released or an official reveal live stream is so much more likely than actually seeing the full game mode released next week. And we're getting close to March anyway, so it's not that long of a wait if you want to wait for, more of an ideal release date for Warzone. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, let me know what you guys think about this down below, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.